I am anxious and is like the story of my life.
And maybe that's the name of the episode. Anxious and.
There you go. Anxious and thriving. Anxious and creative. Anxious and fine. No, I don't know.
Anxious and just okay. Hello and welcome to another episode of Goddess Hangs.
Episode 29.
Woo! Can you believe 29 episodes?
One for as many years as we've been alive.
It's our golden year episode.
So it's going to be a lucky episode. Is
Ooh,
what you're saying.
It is a lucky episode. This lucky episode that we're going to talk about anxiety. You got two very high vibe and spiritual girls who suffer from pretty big anxiety. Pretty chronic anxiety. So we're going to talk about that later today because you know what? We get to do it all even with that.
Totally.
But first, let's catch up a little bit.
Yes.
Juliet, what's new with you?
Oh my gosh. Well, what's new with us?
With us. What's new with us?
What's new with us? First of all, I guess that would have been 2 weeks ago we had Kelly here.
Yes.
Oh my God. If you're here because Kelly sent you here, welcome. We're so happy to have you. We are obsessed with Kelly and we are obsessed with that episode. So if you didn't get a chance to hear it, go back and listen. It's all about being brave and authentic and allowing. But this past weekend, Sadie and I got to be special guests at the All of Us app launch party, and we were in Hollywood. We set up our table with our crystals and our candles and our cards. We did 30 readings back to back.
It was a lot. Julia, so I'm an early riser. Like I naturally wake up around 8. Well, that's early for me anyways. I know some people are like early, that's sleeping in, but I'm like an 8 a.m. natural wake. Juliet texted me at noon the next day and was like, oh my God, I just woke up. I was so tired from that. I was like, oh my God, me too. Like
Sadie never sleeps in.
I can't, it's not physically possible. And then I was like hungover.
Oh.
Like not bad, but I just was like I was discombobulated for like the first 3 hours of being awake. And then I was fine. It was like, when you're doing it, you're so like in it, like reading. It's so fun. I would do it again. It was so fun. I'm not saying it wasn't, but the next day I was like, whoa, I didn't realize how much energy that like pulled out.
Yeah. I think I definitely went home that night and did like the sage and the salt bath and the selenite, and just imagined myself being closed off, like, okay, go back to you now.
Yeah.
Get your energy off me. But it was so much freaking fun. There were live sound baths that were just divine. And special shout out to our Goddess Hangs family member / fan Jackie.
Yes.
Who drove all the way up.
Insert photo here.
Here we are getting
of
to
us
meet
with Jackie.
She drove from like 2 hours away to come hang out with us that night.
It was so fun. Thank you, Jackie, for making the trip to see us.
Thank you. Big shout out.
Jackie is starting her journey on being like a health and nutrition coach, but she's doing it her way. She's been in my Discover a Divine Purpose class, which is, all about like breaking down who you really are. And she's already like, she hasn't quite like launched her business like fully, but I would say everyone go follow her. It's Hello Gains, because she's all about just like being a health coach in a way that like makes you feel good and not worrying about like the number on the scale or losing the weight. She's like, hot girl summer means doing what I want and like feeling good. So shout out to Jackie, and everyone go give her a follow as she starts this new journey, because she's amazing. Her energy's amazing. We had such a fun reading with her too.
So many fun readings.
Yes.
It was a big night. We were situated on like the second floor loft area of this event space, and we both thought like maybe 2 people will come up.
Yeah,
because it was kind of out of the way.
Vision of what was gonna happen when we went there. What did you think? Like, what were you kind of visualizing? Our arrival.
I anticipated that people would maybe a couple would trickle up, but that they'd be more interested in like networking with each other and sitting down and doing the sound baths. And we thought we would get a chance to sit down and do the multiple sound baths, but we didn't. And actually, there was some people were almost starting to get into fights about who was next to sit down. Like this one beautiful woman was about to sit down and this other person comes over and is like, oh, I'm sorry, like we started a list. And I was like, we didn't start a list, like you can sit down. And it was just very we felt very in demand. So it was quite fun. And everybody was just so sweet. And again, thank you to Medium Megan Hart for setting us up there, and Alicia, who is the CEO and founder of All of Us. You're just a delightful soul.
And thank you for sending us home with leftover snacks and champagne. I've been enjoying that.
Speaking of the champagne, so I brought home 2 champagne bottles. One of them I brought to a girls' night and it was enjoyed. The other one sat in my kitchen, and last night or 2 nights ago, I don't know, these dates have been blurring together for me. Anxiety. We'll talk about that. Within the past 48 hours, I'm working at my desk. Victor's working at his desk, and we hear this huge pop. And I really thought, oh my God, somebody just kicked the door in and this is it for me. Like I was like, we're about to have to either fight, flight, or die.
I'm gonna leap off the balcony.
Yeah. I was like, okay, if I jump off down to my neighbor's lawn. So anyways, and he goes, what was that? And he's not somebody who gets alarmed or scared by anything.
Yeah.
And he was like, what was that? And I said, I don't know, what was it? And we go out, and the champagne bottle had unpopped itself. The cork flew across the living room, and there was champagne everywhere. And he kept saying like, well, it's because they're supposed to be in the refrigerator and it was hot. And I was like, but it had never been opened and we had the AC going. It just didn't make sense.
And it wasn't a refrigerator. Like she handed us them out of like a box. She didn't hand us out of the fridge, remember? So it wasn't like, yeah.
So anyways, I was like, I wonder if this is a sign that there's going to be like lots to celebrate soon. There was definitely
the 29th golden episode.
There was definitely lots to clean up. But yeah, that was something kind of, it just felt a little spooky.
Yeah.
To me.
Spooky and fun.
We love fun and spooky things.
It's like, it's time to celebrate.
Good times, come on. Do, 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 do. Pop the champagne.
I'm like angry.
We're ghosts.
We're ghosts.
So that's, and we printed up these little postcards.
Yes.
And that's what we've done as Goddess Hangs, and we're gonna be a bit more active on social media. We're gonna post more stories, more reels, so you'll be seeing more of us.
What do you guys want to see? Let us know if there's anything in particular that we've like posted once and didn't know you guys loved it, and we should post like that again or whatever. We're open to hearing.
Do you want more cat moments with Sadie?
Oh, I took a really cute video of Boo this morning.
I think everyone likes that.
Okay,
everyone loves a good cat moment.
I hear you.
I'll show my plants, I guess.
Yes.
Otherwise, what is new with me? Just feeling a little anxious. We'll get into that.
Yeah.
But it's just been a busy week. There's just been like lots of things back to back to back. I went out to dinner last night. I did a double date with Victor. Does the videography for Chelsea Hill, who's this amazing woman. I've wanted to be her friend since the minute Victor like brought home a video of her, and I finally just came out and said it. I was like, I would like to be friends, and she's like, I would like that too. So we went on a double date, and I was noticing that everybody at the other tables who had a birthday were getting these little desserts that had like full on 4th of July sparklers in them.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I have to have that sparkler.
I must have it.
And so the waiter comes over and he's like, can I get you guys anything else? I said, actually, we do have a birthday. And he goes, whose birthday is it? And everyone points to Chelsea. And I said, it's my birthday. And Victor's like, it was pretty funny. He had to like change the direction. And so they brought it out and everybody's saying happy birthday. I mean, it's in a month, but whatever. I just wanted the sparkler. It was so magical.
That's so funny. First the champagne and then the sparkler.
I'm just in a celebratory mood.
I love it.
I'm just anticipating.
Anxious but celebrating.
Honestly, I am anxious and is like the story of my life.
And maybe that's the name of the episode. Anxious and.
There you go. Anxious and thriving. Anxious and creative. Anxious and fine. No, I don't know.
Anxious and just okay.
Anxious and I'd like to hire somebody to do all the things, but it doesn't make sense at this moment, but I still might do it.
Yeah. Hey, take the leap into the investment because they might double your income or triple your income because they're doing things that you don't know how to do
or don't want to do that stress me out.
Yeah, I know. I've been debating that myself.
Yeah, maybe we just need, if you want to be our, you know what? Would you like to be our intern? Would you like to be our unpaid but very much loved, appreciated, and spoiled intern? If that actually sounds interesting to you, let me know. I can write you a killer recommendation letter for a different job. And it would be for like 3 months or 6 months or whatever you want. Yeah. And you'll get
what kind of work are you looking
bonus.
for?
I want help with email batching. I want help with like editing a certain image to different photo sizes and at certain like 300 DPI resolutions and uploading. It's a lot of like sort of like back-end administrative stuff. But if you want to hang out with me and do that like 3 to 5 hours a week, and then I can just write you killer recommendation letters and help you with your resume and whatever, let me know. And if you want to support us with Goddess Hangs in some way.
Yeah, we have someone in mind that we're going to talk to, but we're looking for PR help. So if any of you have experience in PR, we'd love to hear from you. And yeah, I could always use help too. So with just, I don't know, like assistant type stuff. Yeah. Let us know.
Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Maybe are trying to like get into like the virtual assistant type world or something.
Because it can be tricky to like get a job if you don't have any references.
Yeah.
So that's why.
And I'm at the point where I'm like, I know I need help, but I don't know what with, and I have a hard time releasing the reins. Like I'm like, I need to do everything. So
I'm happy to release the reins. You do it. I'll show you how.
And then I'll learn how to do that after. No.
Okay, yeah. We need you. So just think about it. If that sparks anything, just reach out to either of us or both of us. Yeah, so just been like really busy trying to do a million things at once. And I was very happy we were getting together today because I was like, I just want a day where I can talk to my bestie. What the heck was that? Summon something. And I think we're going to go to the beach after this, maybe.
Yes.
I wore a bathing suit.
Get some lunch and go to the beach.
So, yeah. What's new with you?
Oh, gosh. I didn't think of anything. Okay, we had our event. That was kind of the big event of my week. I thought we were gonna like be able to kind of like wander around, and then someone would be like, oh, like I'll go to readings. So we'd go back to the table and we'd do it, and then we'd wander around some more, and we would network. I mean, we got to talk to literally everyone, so it was great networking for us. But that was so fun and so great. I've been doing more readings that have been great. Yay. I have like one more, and then I'm caught up finally for the first time in a long time. So I'm excited about that. I think when this posts, that Money Mindset Magic will be like in the process of launching, so you can sign up for it now, I think.
Money Mindset
I'm waiting
Magic.
for Mercury retrograde to be over, and then I'm launching it. So yes, when this episode airs, you can sign up for Money Mindset Magic. Make money your BFF. I combine mindset with witchcraft. It's super fun. And last round I did not do live calls, but then I realized like I really like connecting with you all, so I am going to do 1 or 2 live calls. It's a 3-week course, so we'll wait till like the second week, and then maybe wait a week and then have one more. So there will be live Q&A time with me. It'll be super fun. What else is new?
You got a new pretty comforter.
I did get a new comforter. It's actually the exact vision. I wanted like an off-white cream color, which is not the smartest with 2 cats, especially one being a black cat, but whatever. That has like some texture to it and not really like different color pattern, but has like a textured pattern. And then we walked into Target the other day, and it was like a front entryway
Oh, that's perfect.
yeah, like display, and I was like, that was made for me. So we got it because we got a new comforter not that long ago, and we kind of just settled for it because I just hated so much what we had. It was not that cute, and then I finally found what I wanted. So I was like, do I need this? No. But do I want it? Yes. Fuck it, here we go. I'm really happy.
Yeah, it brightened up the whole room.
It did. Yeah, and that's kind of it. It's been a good chill week for me.
Good.
I'm going through my Witch and Famous course with Captolia online, captolia.online if you want to follow her. And so it's all about like branding and visibility and you know, like just like really like solidifying who you are as a brand. So I've been kind of like not posting as much on social media and kind of just trying to like get really clear so that I can like come back full force. I'm excited for that. And yeah, just kind of like catching up on my own courses that I'm taking so that I can be an even better, more aligned teacher for the courses I teach.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's talk about anxiety.
We had that dark night of this whole episode. I think it was our second episode ever, and I think it's our most watched ever as well. So we know a lot of you relate to like the struggle of, well, I want to be spiritual and I want to be high vibe and I want to manifest and I want to be in the energy of having it all, but also I'm really anxious, or also I feel depressed a lot of the time, or also there, you know, that's totally normal. And like, even as two people who have kind of built our living around like teaching these principles, like we still experience that too. So we just wanted to have another conversation because I think we've grown a lot since then.
Yeah.
And like, it's still happening, and like that's okay, even though we've made big strides in our life so far.
What has been like, in short, your journey with anxiety?
So I was a super anxious kid. Also, my whole life I've been anxious, but I don't know, like no one in my family like really recognized like what that anxiety was like a thing. And like when I was a kid, it manifested as being like really, really, really painfully shy. So I have like social anxiety too. That's kind of, it's two separate things. But then as a teenager, I was like really anxious and depressed. And again, like I just like I think my family just thought I was like, oh, being a teenager, acting out, being like hormonal and whatever. And there still was just I just don't think it clicked. And like it was just back then so long ago, I just don't think we were having as many conversations around it, or at least where I was from in like central Wisconsin. Like I don't know, now that I'm older, I can see like, oh, like these members of my family have always struggled with anxiety, and I've tried to like talk about it because I'm like, you know, it would be helpful if you knew what you were feeling. And then not until I was like in college did I have a name for how I felt almost all of the time. And then once I had a name for it, it was a little bit easier to wrestle with and be like, okay, so this is called anxiety, and I can just sit here for a moment and say, what is causing me to feel like severely stressed all of the time? And then I'd be like, okay, this is a reason I could be stressed. Is it worth this number on like the stress scale? No. And I could kind of like talk myself through it. And my mom always worked with me on like visualizing like, oh, like, you know, you have your guardian angel, you can like hand some of this weight you feel over, and like that kind of like meditation and visualization always helped. I've never taken medication for it. When I was on birth control for a couple years, it helped my anxiety a lot, and then until it didn't, and it flipped on me, and then it made it way worse.
Yeah, I've heard that can happen.
So for a while I was like, oh great, this is helping my skin, this is helping, you know, not get pregnant, and this is helping my anxiety, and then it's all of a sudden started making me feel crazy. And now I still just kind of manage it on my own. Like meditation definitely helps. Journaling a lot helps, and just going through that checklist again, like that I used to, where it's like, why do I feel severely stressed? is it worth that number? No. Or, you know, what can I do about it right now? If I can't do anything, then is it worth sitting in this? And that doesn't bring it down to a 0, but I can talk myself out of it to a certain extent sometimes.
So it's something that you've sort of always, it's always come and gone throughout your life.
Yeah, I've always had it. It's my normal.
So I just want to point out that, like, I think it's so important that we're talking about this because we are, you know, here in like an open-minded and spiritual community. And I think so many times I heard growing up or read about, like, well, when you reach enlightenment or whatever, like to be fully healed, you'll never feel anxious again. You'll never feel depressed again. You'll never feel sad again. And I just think that simply isn't true.
Yeah, you can be anxious and, like we were saying, you can be anxious and enlightened, and you can be anxious and high vibe and really spiritual and a master manifester. What has your journey with anxiety been like?
So I definitely, similar to you, up until I was 7, was unless it was like my family or best friend, painfully shy. I couldn't tell the teacher I had to go to the bathroom. Like, it was so
I would
overwhelming
to go to school. I was like, I don't know what, my mom thought I was being bullied or something. I was like, no, I'm just scared of everybody for no reason. Everyone's actually really nice to me.
It was very, you know, I'd have my moments where I would like feel like myself, but it was usually when I was at home. I was always afraid to speak up. And then I met my childhood best friend, Sydney, when I was 7. And she like just turned my world upside down. And we're still very, 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 very close. Like, she'll be in my wedding. Like, we're my future imaginary wedding. And so that opened me up. And I was really, really happy. Like, the happiest I'd ever been, probably around like 9 and 10. And then around middle school, doing okay. And then around 13, just boom, just did a big old drop into like anxiety and depression and all these things. And then teenage years was a lot of up and down. I had to go to therapy for a year when I was 15. I went again in college because I was having like insane anxiety. I thought my genuine fear, and this still comes up sometimes, is that I thought that as I was driving, I was going to fall asleep and run the car off the road. Like, I couldn't relax. I was so afraid I was going to fall asleep and run the car off the road. Like, it was horrible. So I went to therapy, and that was great. Then I kind of did all right for about 5 years. Then I went to therapy again. And then around 2018, it got really, really, really bad to the point where even if I wasn't thinking about anything, I constantly felt inside from the moment I woke up that a tiger was chasing me. Like the pounding and the shortness of breath and just the inability to focus on anything. And finally, my mom, and all of this runs really deep in my family. Like, if anything, I sort of got off easy compared to like what some other family members have dealt with and continue to deal with. But she finally sat me down and she's like, you know, I want you to consider taking a medication for this because you've gone to therapy. I was walking up hills, exercising. I was eating totally differently, and like nothing helped. And this was the first hole I could not climb myself out of. And so I got on one pill, and it immediately made me feel better, but it had some bad side effects. So I switched off that one, and then I got onto a second one, and that's what I'm on to this day. And I'm honestly afraid to ever get off of it. I don't want to. Like, today is honestly the most anxious I've felt maybe since I moved. And that was like a natural anxiety, like just a nervousness. And this is just like a weird one.
A new thing. Yeah.
So I've always had it. And I will say that in my experience, it's a very real thing, and it's hard because it's invisible and people can't, you know, it's not like I can point to like, see, look, my arm is bleeding. Like, you can't really point to it. But in my experience, the medication got me out of a hole and to a point where I could then start doing this kind of work and improving my life and like leaving my day job and like building a career and falling deeply in love with my boyfriend. Like, I really think our relationship would have ended if I didn't get help, because I was miserable all the time, and so many other things. So it's been a ride for sure. And I share this not because I need anybody to like feel sorry for me or feel like I'm a hero who overcame something, but just because like I think everybody to some extent is going through some of this stuff, and it's important to have a conversation about, like you said, like anxiety and like, oh, I deal with anxiety, you know, thank God not every day anymore, but like I deal with it, and I'm still worthy of my desires, and I'm still willing to go for what I want, and I still show up even if it's hard. And I think that having anxiety does not block the manifestation process. As long as you're still sort of doing all the other steps, anxiety is just like a little buzzing fly that hangs out, in my experience.
Yeah. And I think the more you can, I think the hardest part for me was to just recognize like, oh, this is anxiety, and not just like, oh, this is just the way I am or something. Like, it took me so long to just figure out like, oh, like this is an outside thing that is affecting me. It's, you know, it's inside, but it's not like my way of being. It's not who I am as a person. It's something that I deal with, and I can say, okay, despite having this that's trying to, it's like the ego trying to like hold you back. Like anxiety is just this weight. It's, I don't know, you're pointing to your chest too. I think most of us, it's like this weight pressure in your chest that we can allow to hold us back. But what we're saying is like, no, I'm going to say like, even though I have this, and I'm going to give myself days where I'm like, okay, anxiety, I'm going to stay in bed all day like you're asking. And I'm going to have days where I allow myself to just sit with it and feel it. But I'm also going to decide that even though I have anxiety, I deeply and completely accept myself and love myself. And even though I have anxiety, I get to do all of these things. And I get to, I don't know, act like the woman who has it all, and the woman that's not crippled by anxiety, and not like decide you're that person. And even though there might still be that lingering feeling there, and there might be bad days and good days, for me it's really cyclical, like definitely tied to my PMS. I think that's discussed.
What I'm dealing with at this moment.
Like, oh my God, we just talked about it, but like the days leading up to it, like I'll have a panic attack. I'll have an anxiety attack for no reason. Like one little thing will go wrong, and I can't breathe. So it's like, it's very hormonal for me, and I am working on figuring out how to balance that better. But yeah, I think just our day and age, how quickly we've arrived into this world that's like ads, screens, like constant, like there's constant stimulation at us. It's only natural that like I wouldn't be surprised if you were like 100% of the population has anxiety, because
we're overstimulated constantly.
It's just too much. Like I think the reason why like as a kid it wasn't recognized in me is because it wasn't, I don't know for sure, I just feel like maybe it wasn't as common because we weren't quite to like this space we're in now. Like the internet was just starting to be, you know, available everywhere. We had dial-up, like and I also grew up in a small town, so, and now I just think it's like, oh, it's just so normal. It's like I any given person I've spoken to is like, yeah, I have anxiety. So there's just different extents to it, and there's definitely people with chronic anxiety and people with situational and people with, but it's just everyone's so overstimulated. So we have to figure out our own unique ways to take care of ourselves and recognize. So I'm curious, like what are some ways that have helped you? You know, obviously going to get medication that you needed was an amazing step, and I don't think anyone should be fearful of doing that. And
I didn't need it for a long time. Like I was able to like therapy myself out of it or like move out of it. But this was a time when like I would be lying on the floor for 8 hours a day under a blanket and like driving myself to the emergency room at 1 a.m. saying like, I cannot relax. I mean, it was like But even in that dark time, there was a little Juliet in there that was like, I know that I want to be happy. And even so at that moment, I want to really acknowledge at that moment, I could not start a business, fix a relationship. But what I could do in that moment was decide, you know what, I don't want to live like this, and I'm going to figure it out. So even if, you know, it's a little step-by-step journey. So if it feels overwhelming, like, oh my God, I'm in such a dark place, like there's absolutely no way I can start making TikToks tomorrow to promote my brand, like you can still be like, okay, well, today I'm going to decide to book a therapy session. Today I'm going to decide, like it's like little incremental things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for me, what's helpful is to not resist it. So I think our instinct is when we feel anxious, and I've been doing it all day and I need to stop doing it, is we get really tight.
Oh my God, I'm like this.
We get really tight. I clench my jaw.
Yeah.
And then my teeth will hurt, and then I know that I've been doing it. And we get really tight because it's like, I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to feel this. But really, if we just opened up, okay, and this is aside from the other practical steps of therapy and medication and whatever, if that's your route, which was mine. If we let it happen and it's like, you know what, I acknowledge that I'm feeling anxious right now. I'm feeling anxious. Can I pinpoint why? Okay, well, right now I'm spinning through thoughts of, I'll never have what I want. I'll never get what I, like I'm spinning through these very negative thoughts today. Okay, I'm noticing that. I see that. Like I sort of walk myself through it as if I was like talking to a child or a dear friend.
Yeah, yeah.
And I notice that, and it's like, well, is that really the truth? Is that really the truth, Juliet? It's not, but I'm noticing that we're still just kind of stuck on that today. So we'll just take it easy today, and well, let's go do something that makes us happy. And I really just try to be very loving with myself. And I think what's helpful is to let others in and be like, hey, I'm feeling this way. I know that this is not logical, but I'm feeling this way. And you know, and I did also want to mention that you were saying about, or we were talking about how it's like sort of, this stuff gets passed down a lot of the time. Yeah. And what made me feel so much freer was that in the same way that my eye color was in my DNA, and my skin color and my hair color and my freckles, and like so many things were just sort of like written into me, you know, anxiety got written into, a level of depression at certain points of time was written into. And that was almost freeing for me, because I was like, this doesn't touch my soul. This doesn't touch like the part of me that has lived forever and will live forever. Like that is the most completely whole, beautiful, perfect thing that like any physical or mental or emotional illness, disease, issue can never permeate. So when I realized like, oh, this is a genetic thing, I was able to sort of look at it as like not my fault. Yeah. And I didn't take it so personally. And I just went to go get help for it in the same way that somebody who's like, hey, I have diabetes, I need assistance. And it was
broke my leg, down. I need help. Yeah.
I need a cast for my arm, please. Yeah. So there's so many ways we can look at it. And I think what's important is to frame it in a way that makes you feel like safest and makes you feel best. And if you, and I just be open. I think everybody you talk to, I've met very few people who are like, I've just never had that happen. Yeah. And they're out there.
Or like, you need to like, just don't let it.
Oh, just cheer up. Yeah. Oh, I had a doctor.
There are people like that, but.
I tried to get help initially in my darkest days. And the doctor that I had, who I do not have anymore, was basically like, oh, you just need to cheer up and exercise. You're being too negative. God. Can you believe that?
A lot of times, too, as women who menstruate, they'll be like, well, it's your period. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not normal to get severely depressed every time I get my period. I don't want to, like now, my anxiety gets really bad for about 3 days leading up to it. It's not that bad, but I used to, like 2 weeks, it used to be a full 50% of my life. Like, I was like, no, this is unacceptable. Like, this isn't right. I know PMS is a thing, but like, there's obviously something wrong if for half of the month, so therefore half of my life, I cannot function because of my period.
Right.
Now it's a few days and it's still hard, but it's like obviously much more manageable.
What are some things you do to sort of move through the anxiety and still, you know, have your successful business and show up as a podcast host? Like, what do you do?
Well, again, the conversation, like rating it. Why am I stressed? Also, like, what's the worst that can happen? Because I think your body goes, we're gonna die, we're gonna be homeless, we're gonna, like, I don't know, that's what I get, that's the level of stress I get, like, you know, like, worst case scenario is floating through my brain, and I'm like, where are you getting this bullshit from? Like it's not necessarily like thoughts of like I'm gonna be homeless, but it's like if I'm stressed about money, I'll get that level of stress where I'm like, I have so many friends and family, and I have so much going for me that's not even a possibility, but that's how I would imagine the level of stress would be if that's what I was facing. You know what I mean? Okay. It's not me actually thinking that. But it's like, why am I this level of stressed? Everything's gonna be fine. I can ask for help. I can, you know, do this, and that. So asking myself, what's the truth about what's the worst that can happen? And so does my stress level match that? But yeah, I think the thing that helps me most is like giving myself a pat on the back and like rewarding myself for like the tiniest bit of effort that I'll put in when facing that. Like,
I took a shower.
Yeah, like being like, oh my God, you meditated today, even though you felt like there was no way, or you maybe I didn't even meditate successfully, but I put in the effort to it. I'm like, good for you. You felt like you wanted to stay in bed all day, but you got up and brushed your teeth and you sat down and meditated, and then you went back to bed, and that's great. Because I think that what I've noticed is the less of a hard time I give myself for the shitty days, the less I have them.
Because you don't resist it.
Yeah. I rarely, I mean, back in the day, like especially when I was working like 9 to 5 type, well, I was always in retail, so it wasn't 9 to 5, it was, but you know, I was working like 40 to 50 hour work weeks, but weird hours. Like my days off sometimes, like I would just stay, all my days off were just in bed, or I would like party and drink a lot to kind of like numb myself out of the anxiety, and then I would just be like hungover, anxious, and stay in bed all day, like beautiful day, curtains closed, darkness, and then go back to work, you know. Now so that was like 2 days of every week I would just like stay in bed all day and not do anything. That's crazy. I didn't help myself, and then I just hate myself for doing that. I'd be like, you're such a piece of shit for allowing yourself to do this. You never do anything. You never enjoy your days off. All you do is pout about your life. Like I would just hate on myself. And now I've obviously like pushed myself and worked towards much better circumstances for myself. But now it's like, if I have a bad day and I want to stay in bed all day, it barely happens anymore. But if I do, I'm like, yeah, enjoy this. It's fine. It's good. Go eat some junk food and watch TV for 12 hours. I don't care. Go ahead. Have a ball, you know? And then the next day I can come out of it feeling refreshed instead of like feeling guilty and even more anxious. So I think just changing your mindset about the anxiety you're feeling, like, oh, maybe I'm feeling this because I do need to rest. And instead of feeling bad about needing to rest, I'm going to just say, this is great. And even though it feels like I don't have time for this, it's going to be better in the long run because I'm going to be more efficient. I'm going to, you know, be re-energized, whatever. And like, look, I know all of these things are easier said than done, but it's just like tiny steps of like acceptance, I think, is the biggest thing. And like you said, like, oh, this is just a part of me and it's not my identity. It's not like, I'm not anxious girl. I'm not anxious Sadie. I'm just Sadie who sometimes deals with this. And the more I've accepted it, the less and less it's controlled my life, and the less it's you know, like held back parts of my life, even though I still deal with it on a, you know, a monthly basis, really. And more recently, like, I kind of had it severely for like a full month straight, and like that sucked, but okay, it's over with. I'm gonna move on. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I wasted a whole month feeling anxious and I could have gotten more done, and I could have, oh, I like, what a wasted whatever. I'm just like, all right, not there anymore. Whew, made it, survived it. Let's move forward with more energy. So really just accepting it and pushing yourself to do the tiniest step, because even then, like, I meditate and then I'm like, all right, well, I did manage to do that, and even though I'm still not feeling great, I guess I'm gonna you know, take a shower. Okay, I did manage those two things, so you know what, I'm gonna go for a walk because I managed. And it kind of just like ripples out, and just telling yourself like, all I have to do today is this one thing, and usually you're then willing to do a little bit more. And then if not, that's okay.
When I was in college, I had my favorite therapist ever. And then when I graduated, I couldn't see her anymore. It made me very sad. But she, up until then, had been doing more like psychotherapy that was trying to just get rid of anxious thoughts altogether, which I think is honestly impossible.
Yeah.
And I think that's why some people can spend their entire lives in therapy and they're like, I don't get it, I still have fearful thoughts. And it's like, yes, that is natural. That is human. And to resist every thought that comes through, because our thoughts just travel through like little, you know, birds flying by, can become very stressful. So there was something that totally mirroring what you just said. There was a type of therapy that that really worked for me, called acceptance and commitment therapy. It was ACT. It was cutting edge at the time. And the idea was that it's one thing to feel anxious. What's worse is to then get mad that we're feeling anxious, or get upset that we're feeling anxious, or make a judgment that we're feeling anxious. Because that's like, you know, pain is pain, but then struggle is like so much worse. So the idea was, oh, that's interesting. I'm noticing that anxiety has decided, like, let's say I'm driving the bus. That was always her example. That's interesting. Anxiety has decided to get on the bus. All right, buckle your seatbelt. Like, we're still going in the direction that we're going in. Today, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to call this person. And you can be in the bus chattering all you want, but you are not driving it. So it was about like accepting that these thoughts are always going to come, just noticing them, being very loving towards them, and committing to your values. Like, you know, I have a value of like, I'm going to show up and be very creative, even if anxiety is on the bus saying like, no, it's not worth it because me. Okay, thank you, I hear you, but that's not one of my values. My value is to show up and be creative. So you can come with, and I'm not going to resist and fight you because you're not going anywhere. And then you end up sort of, what really matters is you're still living a life that is in alignment with your values and like what you really want to do. And you're no longer sort of wasting energy trying to combat this thing that probably isn't going to go away.
Yeah, trying to push it out of the bus, being like, you're not welcome here.
Yeah, because even when we sat down to do our readings with all these people, I felt a few little things come up in me like, oh my gosh, like...
Oh yeah, I was so scared.
I was definitely nervous because we had never done anything like this where we sat down with people in person who like had no idea who we were. And
just like after a year and a half of like literally not meeting any new people or doing anything in real life, it was a lot. It was both of those things.
Yes. It was like, hi, nice to meet all of you, and also let me tap into all of your energy.
Yeah.
And it was really special. And a lot of people came over and they're like, I'm really scared.
Yeah.
And that's what bums me out about the reputation or the overall thought people have about like psychics. I mean, I've been scared by some psychics, you know, they can scare you. And I think it's a really, you have to be really ethical about what you're willing to share and help with. And the messages that we left people with really just like were big, like validation and confidence boosters. It really wasn't about in 7 years.
I'm not a doomsday psychic.
No. I don't even see anything like that.
No. I have a boundary. I'm like, I don't want to see anything that is outside of someone's control to like shift for themselves. I don't want to see the future or something.
Yeah.
And especially a future that is just gonna happen no matter what happens.
Right.
You know, like I don't want to see scary movie like, oh, you will die in 7 days. Like I don't want to see that shit. It's outside of control.
But in that moment, you know, some of the anxieties came up, ones that I would call natural anxieties of like, oh my gosh, like what if this and what if that and what if this? But that isn't my value. My value isn't to chicken out when I get scared. My value is to show up and do the work that I know I'm here to do. So the anxiety was able to take a back seat, have a snack, whatever, and then we could do the thing. So I'm so happy we're talking about this because I think it's probably easy for people who don't like know us on the day-to-day to think that we're just like always happy all the time and Juliet rides a horse and like all that it's true. We are happy a lot of the time, but we're all also very human and it's so easy to be triggered by anything at any time and for nervousness to happen, anxiety to happen. And I don't even want to say you can be anxious. You can experience anxiety and still show up, still take the risk, still take the chance, still tell them how you feel, still, you know, because
I also have like social anxiety, so like it's really hard for me to like go to new places for the first time by myself. Like even just like a new grocery store or something, I'll get anxious that I don't know the layout.
Oh no.
Or like when I first started going to I just started going to yoga again and I was like, Craig, can you please come with me to the first class? Because it's hard for me to do and then I'm fine. But I've been trying to, you know, be okay with more. It's funny because I also love change. Like I think that's like my Aries moon. Like I love like experiences. We've talked about before, I've moved like 12 times in like 10 years.
That's
like
amazing.
So it doesn't like hold me back, but it's so funny. Like even, or like calling, oh my God, calling somewhere to schedule an appointment, get so anxious. Why? And then so I'll like be like, oh my God, okay, just do. I'm like psyching out. I'm like, okay, let's just do that. And I do it and I get done and I'm like laughing at myself. I'm like, what was the fucking problem? Like what would, it's so funny. So I try to like bring, like I have a good relationship with my social anxiety now where it still is there, but I can laugh about it and I try and bring that energy into like my other anxiety too of like, all right, see what you're being a little ridiculous. You're being a little funny, like, haha, Sadie, like very funny. Nothing bad was going to happen. What, LOL that you made a big fuss about that, you know, because I just had it again with the yoga, because they're doing outdoor ones and they're always at a new location. So joke's on me, I get anxious every time because I thought I'll go to the studio once with Craig and I'll be good. And then they do outdoor ones and it's, I guess, so people can't just show up. It's always at a different location, you know, okay, at these different parks and stuff. So I get really, I've been going by myself and facing it, but I get really anxious. So I'm like, where am I going to park? What if I can't find them?
I do get parking anxiety.
Yeah. And then I go and I'm like, it was literally fine. Like I'm like, I'm not gonna go, it'll be fine, I'll go to the next one. I go, it's fine.
But you know what's important, you still go.
Yeah
And nobody there knows that you felt that way. They just think, oh, look at this cool girl who showed up.
Yeah.
And they might have had the same nervousness.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody here.
I know it's ridiculous because when I go to the place by myself or do the thing or join the class or whatever, like everyone's always like, oh, hey, what's your name? And like the friendliest ever. And I'm just like, did I think people were going to bully me at yoga class? Like what? They're going to be like, you're so stupid that you showed up 1 minute late because you couldn't find parking. Like, it's so silly.
You don't fit in around here.
Yeah, like we don't take kindly to you.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what it is, but I just always had that since I was a kid. It's not even because I'm not shy. Once I'm comfortable in a place, I'm like, I love being the life of the party if I'm with my friends and I want to, you know, have lots of attention. But the first steps, I'm like, nobody look at me, I'm not even here. And then I'll be like, just kidding, here I am. And I burst out of the cake or whatever. I know. I'm a complicated soul.
We need to jump out of a cake for
Yes,
our
we
birthdays,
do.
for ourselves. We are the
Done.
gift.
We should tell people it's a surprise party for us, but it's actually a reverse that we're going to surprise them.
Oh my God, I love it. I'm pretty extroverted, but I'm just not loud. So for the longest time, because Victor's a loud extrovert,
Yes.
he thought I was more introverted. And he's like, but so then one time he actually saw me out with like my friends and me like playing host, and he's like, oh, you're acting like me. And of course then I got mad at him because I was like, you don't even know me, that's who I am. But that was a season when I got mad at everything. Hence why I needed some professional help, but now I'm much more easygoing. Anyways, yeah, I'm happy to approach people. Like, I'm very extroverted, but I'm just not a loud extrovert. And then at some point, I'm ready to go home. My energy reserve runs out, and I am very much done.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm an introvert and an extrovert. It just depends on the...
An ambivert.
An ambivert? Is that what that is?
I don't know. I know it's ambidextrous.
I need a lot of alone
with your
time. Like,
hands.
even just like living with Craig, like, as we've discussed, he's always home. Well, he's on tour a lot now, so it's been better, but just two people like always home and like one person trying to work, and like his work is going to shows mostly, so like he's got to make calls and figure out his schedule. He does have work to do, but it's just like he has a lot less work to do, so it's just a lot. But anyways, I do need to recharge. I recharge by myself, but I also, like, if I go out, like I can stay out till 4 a.m. and be out. Like, I fucking love being out.
That's funny. At around 1:30, I'm like, we're going home, right?
Yeah, no, that's not me. Oh my God. Yeah. My party
It's funny
days,
how we're all like mixes of, I never had party days.
I've had many years of party days.
I've had like some literal party days, but I never had party days.
Oh, sorry, I should say in my party years. Yeah, we would go to like the after bar party, and
you crazy.
Too old for that now. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm both. But then like, yeah, if I'm with like my boyfriend's group of friends, I'll be shy. Mm-hmm. And then with my group of friends, I'm like, I gotta be the jester. I'm the entertainer.
Yeah.
I'm like, who needs a drink? And like, let's go dance. And I'm like the loudest one.
I'm like that.
I'm like both.
And around Victor's friends, I think for the first year or so, they're like, we don't even know her very well.
Yeah. Oh my God, I get really shy. Also, all of Craig's friends are all comedians, so they're all very like loud and big energy. So it's I love them all, but it's intimidating to be. And they're all trying to joke over each other, and I'm like, I say a really good joke and no one hears me because they don't expect it from me, and I'm like, God damn it, that was a good joke, you guys.
I'm gonna write this down for later.
Actually, and Craig has a group chat with all of his buddies, and he's not very good at comebacks, but I am. And so he'll like read me and stuff because we'll be like riffing and stuff, a bunch of comedians, and I'll tell him what comeback to do, and I always kill it, but they'll never know.
I love
it makes me mad. I'm like, tell them that I said that. They always hate your comebacks. They always laugh at mine. So
eventually Sadie will be the comedian headliner.
Like, just give me your phone. Oh.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, anxiety is not a life sentence in a bad way.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you any less of a goddess. It doesn't make you any less of a manifester. It is sort of a natural thing that comes and goes.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear from you all, like, what are ways that have helped you manage your own anxiety, if that's something, I feel most of us, at least some parts of our lives, have felt it. So what are some things that have helped you that maybe we mentioned or that we don't know about? I'd love to hear more tips on how to help myself. And what else was I going to say? I was going to ask you all another question to comment. I forgot.
You're talking about anxiety. Does that help? No.
Just wanted you to tell us, like, yeah, if you want to share your own experiences with, like, you know, like, how to manage it. I'm curious.
And if you were surprised to hear that we deal with this all the time. I
talk about it for every weekly catch up, so y'all know.
Oh, well, if
every week I'm like, I've been feeling pretty bad.
And, I also want to say, you can be a person who experiences anxiety and still identify, like, I identify as like a happy, grateful person.
Yeah, I don't say like, oh, I I don't tell people I have anxiety really.
No.
Or like I don't say like I'm anxious. Yeah, I just don't want that to be my identity, even though I totally accept myself as someone who has anxiety often.
I just thought of a good example. It's like I'm tired probably every day at some point, but I don't consider myself a tired person.
Yeah, I'm not like, oh, I struggle with being tired all the time.
Right. I'm just tired when I'm tired, and then I handle it.
Yeah.
I go to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm anxious when I'm anxious, and then I handle it.
Yeah, I think to take away from this, what we talked about this week's episode is to really like what works for us, which we have some overlapping things, may not work for you, and like really work on acceptance and taking the steps that you need to take that are right for you, to help yourself with your own, maybe it's not anxiety, maybe it's depression, maybe it's something else. But we all have our little quirks that can hold us back or make life a little more difficult, but that's what keeps it interesting, right? And just make sure you're like really just like loving yourself. I don't even want to say despite it, like because of it, because that, like accepting and loving all parts of you, and being really thorough in your like exploration of how to make that work for you and make it fit into your life, and allowing space for it. And just like, I loved what you said about like, this is just a part of my body, my DNA makeup, but it's not a part of my soul. It's not who I am.
No, and it's not going to be like my legacy either.
Yeah.
And I want to be open about the fact that I've dealt with it and it still pops up sometimes, but you deserve to feel as joyful and happy and inspired as a person can possibly feel, whatever steps you need to take, even if it's just the smallest first baby step out of that dark place. We believe in you, like
Yes.
we've been there. And it's just what Sadie said, like the part of you, anxiety, depression, anything, it will never touch that perfect. And I think that's true with like with traumas or just anything that we may have been through that has just been so unfair and so difficult, at least in my experience and in my mind. That part of me, the truest part of me, none of that could ever touch it. Like that part is so pure and so perfect. And I think that's true for every person on this planet.
And I'm thinking, this just came to me now, but I think my biggest breakthrough with my anxiety, what lifted the most of it, was the work that we do of like, who am I really and how do I honor that? I think a lot of our anxiety gets put on us because we're like not being honest with ourselves about like what we really want and how we want to exist in this world, and we don't allow ourselves a chance to do it. Because from when I was doing what I was doing before that was not working, of like working in retail and being a manager and all that stuff, to now making my own way, and it's sometimes being stressful and giving me anxiety because I'm like, can I really do this, and what am I even doing? I feel like I'm just like guessing or whatever. That's a different kind of anxiety, but like that, discovering who I am and being willing to like take the risks to go after that, like that's lifted so much of the like chronicness out of it. Like it's not all the time now. It's not 2 weeks out of the month. It's a few days out of the month, because I was like, oh, like I was anxious because I was like burying all these parts of myself that just wanted to like be expressed and wanted to say like, Sadie, this is who you really are. Why aren't you allowing yourself? Why aren't you allowing us, I don't know, the little me in there, to at least try what we've always wanted to try. Like, what the heck is going on? So, just like, being really true to who you are. All of this work that we talk about and do is all little bits and pieces of the ways that we've stepped out of like who we once were to where we are now, which is in a place of acceptance and still experiencing some, but in a much better place. And I keep losing my train of thought. I had another thing to, whatever. It's done.
It is done, and so it is.
And so it is.
This was kind of an intense episode.
It was.
But I feel like I've come clean.
It does feel good to talk about it. just admit it. Like, turn to your friend or turn to your partner or turn to your parents or whatever, the person you live with, and say, I'm anxious right now. That lifts so much off of it too. Like, when I can just, even sometimes I'll just be like really stressed and be like grouchy or whatever, and Craig will be like, are you feeling anxious today? And I'm like, yeah, thank you for recognizing that. And like, that lifts so much weight, because I don't know, there's always like a weird gotta figure this out myself energy around it, or like gotta deal with this. Or when someone can just, or you can share with someone and just be like, yeah, I feel like crap today, and they're like, okay, that's okay, you know. So we're here to tell you it's okay if you feel like crap.
I feel anxious right now for no reason, but it's okay.
I'm doing pretty good today. Talk to me in a few weeks when my period's gonna come back around.
Yeah, mine's
still
like
living my high. I'm surprised we haven't synced up yet.
I know. What's that about?
I don't know. Mine's gotten all wonky, so maybe I'm starting to sync to you.
Yes, please sync to me.
Not loving it. I was loving having a regular period, and now it's like, what if we did this many days of this cycle? And I'm like, what? But that makes me anxious. Anyways, we love you all so much. Make sure you like this episode if you're on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed to us. We are going to figure out a fun little reward for those of you who leave us reviews. So let us know what's something that you would want, or if you've already left a review, you'll receive this. We were thinking like a little guided meditation from both of us.
I love that.
I don't know. Is there something we want to say thank you to everyone that leaves reviews, because it helps us so much. Share this episode with a friend, especially someone that maybe you've connected with because you've both struggled with anxiety. Maybe this will help. Let us know about your experiences and how you've, picked yourself up from those anxious spaces. And follow us on Instagram. What else? I'm like, gotta cover all the things. Follow us on Instagram at Goddess Hangs, at I am Sadie Olson,
at Juliet.Piper. So, okay, by the time this comes out, we will have the gift in place. So, write a review on Apple Podcasts, wherever you can write a review. Take a screenshot before you submit it. Yeah. Because if you submit it will disappear. Email us, goddesshangs@gmail.com, and say, hey, just submitted this review, excited for my gift. And we will send you a gift.
Yes.
Also, if you want to dive into some of our favorite topics, we have been so excited about the Goddess Handbook. So many of you are loving it already. It has Sadie's,
we sold a bunch.
Yeah, very exciting. We have Sadie's signature spells for like money and love, protection. We have full moon rituals, new moon rituals, how to cleanse energy. That's very helpful for anxiety, let me tell you.
Selenite. Get selenite.
Selenite and sage and a bunch of sea salt to like scrub on yourself in the bathtub. It also has tips for up-leveling your life, manifestation, quantum leaping. We have a whole part about self-love, which is also important for anxiety. And then there's tips for creatives and how to get rid of writer's block, imposter syndrome, all that stuff. And then at the very end, there's a little collage you can print up if you want and put it on your wall. Send us pictures.
Yes.
So that is our evergreen ongoing offering for you. And then make sure you check out Sadie's Money Mindset Magic course, because Sadie is just brilliant at talking about all this and making it really special and combining it with witchcraft in a way that you've probably never heard money talked about before. And if you're like, I feel like I'm almost getting it, but there's something still that hasn't clicked, like this is going to make it click for you. So we have lots of ways we want to work with you and hang out with you and be your bestie. So thank you so much for all your support. Thank you for sharing with your friends. If you have any podcasts that you want us to be on, go bug them.
Yes. Send them. Be like, you should have my favorite podcast on. Yeah.
Help be our little manifestors army. We would appreciate that very much.
Let's badger people until they let us on their podcast.
Let them in.
Let me in. We would love that. We would love that so much. Thank you. We love you.
We love you.